like it. Sailing to an uncharted island with strange folk aboard.
Keep your voice down. I just want the captain to hear you.
It ain't the captain I'm worried about. It's our priest. If he's a man of the cloth, I'm the Virgin Mary.
All you seek will soon be yours, Captain. It is indeed the island of legend.
So you say. If you're wrong, the price of the voyage will be paid in blood. Yours. And those vagabonds you brought along.
They merely seek adventure, Captain. The island calls to those who forge their own destiny.
Hello everyone, my name is Fate, and welcome to the New World Aeternum beta. Now, for those of you who have played New World in the past, this character creation screen may look a bit different too. In the live version of the game, you are not taken to any kind of archetype screen. You go straight into character customization. Here, however, they decided to go with this archetype window, most likely to help new players to make it more familiar, how help them easier understand the weapons and kind of give them a starting to some of the weapons, see what they might like or not like. I will say this ahead of time, this doesn't actually lock you into anything. You choosing soldier, for example, here won't lock you into sword, shield, and hatchet. Looks like you can craft or loot a different weapon and equip it immediately. Crafting wise, you may need to level 2, 3, or 4 before you can actually craft one of the beginner bows or rapiers or something, but it's really not that big of a deal, and this is really just for like a new player experience. So we'll quickly run through some of these archetypes. So first one here, we have soldier. Looks like sword, shield, and hatchet. They looks like are labeling them with some kind of little explanation of what they are. Like this one is saying is as a tank and a damage dealer. While yes, you can definitely tank with sword, shield, and it does have some nice tank capabilities. You don't need to tank with it. You can DPS with it or damage with it. It's really just a play style. Going to destroyer, does the same little damage tank description here for this, for the hammer and the great axe. But again, you're not tied. You can play however you want. Ranger, damage dealer, bow, and then what looks to be a spear. Going over to musketeer, looks to be a rapier and a musket combo starter. Oculus. Now, the game does have 4 mage weapons. Here it looks like we have a fire staff and a ice gauntlet over there in the back. Now, both of these appear to be classified as damage. Next, we have a mystic void gauntlet, looks like, and a light or healing staff. Now, that's a pretty sick effect on that void gauntlet. Looks like one of those Halo or possibly a Destiny 2 kind of void light construct weapons. Pretty nice. Last one here is we have a sword bearer. Great sword, and looks to be a blunderbuss or pistol, if you will. So again, this is just kind of helping you start the game if you wanted to experience a certain weapon and not have to kind of grind a few levels to craft it. Especially when it comes to greatsword, it was a newer weapon added, and it does take you a little bit to get that, unless you get lucky with a drop. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're giving us any of the Angry Earth kind of weapons. Now, if you look down here, we have a trade skills window. This is something new, and I wouldn't say it matters, but it does give you a little bonus. So in the live game, this doesn't exist, but it looks like for Aeternum, they kind of thematically tied in some of these with a character. So we're going to use a ranger here as an example. They're more of a woodsy kind of class, if you will. They, do bow crafting, dagger crafting, kind of, lore-wise, cutting trees, picking berries, skinning things, stuff like that. So the devs decided to give it these kind of professions: engineering for making bows, wood cutting to chop down trees, and woodworking to use the wood you just cut down to make things. Would I have gone with these? Not sure, but it thematically kind of fits, and it just gives you 50 levels to them. 50 levels is not a lot for these. The cap is 205 and 250 for actually gathering and then tracking. So while it does help and it will kind of encourage you to actually use them, it's not that big of a deal. You can ignore this. So you can go with a different profession if you wanted to altogether. What you could also do is, if you want to play this type of game and don't really care about the archetype or the weapons, you can find which archetype gives you the trade skills you want, and then start there. And then as soon as you land on the beach, you can go ahead and craft or loot the weapon that you do want, but now you're 50 levels ahead of the trade skill that you actually want to do. There are some people out there who don't really do the combat when it comes to these games. They prefer like the life skilling, they prefer the crafting, gathering, and all that kind of thing. So again, if you wanted to use trade skills of like the destroyer, you can pick the destroyer, get those, but you don't want to do hammer and axe. You can go ahead and craft or find yourself a bow spear at level 1, level 2, and off you go. And now you don't have to cut down trees if you don't want. You can do this. You can also do the other way around. If you don't care about the trade skills, pick whatever archetype you want for the weapons you want to start with, and you can ignore the trade skills that it gave you 50 levels in, and you can go somewhere else. If you don't want to do leatherworking, you can go do mining. If you want to do woodworking, you can go do fishing. Doesn't really matter. You're not tied into any of this. It's really free form. You can play all the professions, you can play all the weapons, you can mix and match, you can max everything out. The game gives you those opportunities to do that. Let's go ahead and actually go into making the character. We're just going to go ahead and select the ranger. So the actual customization is about the same here for live. Looks like you do still have the one body types, body shapes. It would be nice if they added more shapes, wider, thinner, things like that. Taller, shorter would be nice, but oh well. Faces look about the same. Maybe there's some more, but those look about the same. Hairstyles, definitely a lot more. I don't recall there being a scroll wheel on the live version, but we definitely have a lot more here. Same thing for facial hair. There we have a scroll wheel. Do not have that on live. Features looks the same. Scars looks the same. Tattoos. I never really went with tattoos, so I'm not sure if this is the same or not. I think live only had like this part of it, and we didn't really have anything down here. So these definitely may be new, but that's a little contradiction right there. Definitely may be. All right, let's go ahead and set our name. Doesn't look like I can put that last G in there. So I believe this might be one character shy of what live is. I'm not sure. We'll have to check that later. We'll do a comparison of a new player start between the beta and live in this video. So for now, we're just gonna go with this. We're not gonna fully customize the character. This is a beta, so we're just gonna go with what the preset is. Now I do have a character that's in the mid-20s already testing things out. It looks like people are interested in the beta. The server's filled up really quickly. Even on the start, I couldn't get into one. I had to go on 2. So let's go ahead and make this new character.
Listen to me, priest!
I warned you the journey would be difficult.
You said nothing about sailing through the very gates of hell!
Hell is all but inevitable for one such as you, Aldous Thorpe. The island offers something much greater than gold. Redemption. For me, and perhaps even for you. Do not fear the storm, Captain. Faith will see us through.
That was a pretty nice seamless transition into here showing us how the combat works. Light attack, blocking, dodging, and then heavy attack. Not bad. Kind of similar to the live a little bit, but a nice little cinematic transition there. I feel like these enemies might be slightly tougher than the intro tutorial enemies for the live game. That was a strange little kind of hiccup there. Not sure if that was the game or the servers. I know they are slammed. People are constantly trying to log in, and new channels are being made. Huh. So this is new. The live version of the game, our character actually does not know how to swim. But looks like they have learned now. So if you press shift, your character does... Okay, so it does just do one quick little burst of speed for the swimming. Holding it doesn't actually cause you to swim faster. So you get like a little tiny boost whenever you press shift. water looks fantastic, by the way. And looks like here those two weapons that our archetype was selected at the beginning. So we got the bow and the spear. Got a little pop-up just telling us how it equips. I think the life source might do it a little differently. I don't think it gives you like just a notification. I think it forces you to do that. But we'll double check later. Let's go ahead and try out the bow. Okay. Feels about the same as it does on live. I know that they were saying that the projectiles were being updated a little bit. The bow, the musket, the blunderbuss, and to an extent the mage weapons. I think the aiming and the actual projectiles hitting were a little harder or annoying on live. Some desyncing with enemies, and especially other players. That felt about the same. I know with controller they added some auto lock features, so maybe it'll be better for them. I know that was another thing with the hitboxes and the projectiles. Some of these enemies have pretty accurate hitboxes, so even though the reticle is ever so slightly off, you will miss, whereas most other games that have this kind of thing have a little larger hitbox to help with those projectiles. Okay, looks like there's a target lock. Does work. You can charge up the bow shots. Looks like the shots are just body though. They're not locked on to weak points, so like headshots, things like that. I will say the game does look great. Now, New World has always looked really good compared to a lot of a lot of the MMOs on the market these days. You can tell that they know that by incorporating this scene here with a lot of the leaves and trees and like the lighting coming through and that deer that ran off. It looks really nice, especially walking through here, this little part. This part looks very similar to what live is, with the little volcano or crater in the back. I think this might be more... Yeah, I think this is better for me. I think the live version had you go down to like some kind of black smoke like this with the waves and the water and just like the vibe just feels a bit better. Before we go on here, let's go ahead and check out our inventory, see how that looks like in some of the other menus. See if there's any changes. Now, inventory looks identical. Bag, armor slots, weapon slots. We can't access it, but it looks like the tools for the professions and bags and your instruments all are in a separate bag, or a tab now, I should say. Weapon masteries for your weapons. Window looks the same. Let's go ahead and check the attributes first. Again, this also still looks the same. Have these little nodes every couple of points. They give you some beneficial stats. The more you have of that stat, is I don't know if they changed those, but looking at the weapons appear to be the same for each stat as they used to be. So nothing new there. What they did update though is on live, let's take the sword and shield for example. It just says that it scales with strength and dexterity. It doesn't tell you what the percentages of each of those, which is unfortunate. There is still a percentage for each, it just doesn't say, so you have to use external sources to find out. It's nice that they actually incorporated here, so you don't have to do that. It just tells you in the game. And this way you know what weapons you can pair up together. You can play however you want. You can pair up a strength weapon with like an intelligence weapon. You can do that, but you will get a benefit if you pair them up if they're the same stat or at least share a stat, like dexterity and strength. A lot of the weapons share stats there, so you can do like rapier, sword, shield. That way you have the damage from the rapier. Dex benefits it a lot, but also benefits sword and shield a little bit. That way if you get into a tough situation, you can switch to sword and shield, maybe survive a bit. Going into weapon mastery, again, this looks the same. Let's go ahead and go into our bow because we have 2 points into it. Now this is the same as live was. As you use a weapon, you'll gain experience points for that weapon, and every time that weapon levels up, it will give you a skill point, and you can use those skill points to spend in the tree. I don't know if any of these points or these nodes for these talents have changed. Maybe they have. I'm not 100% on what they used to be and what they are now. But you can put points into either side. You're not locked into one side like skirmisher or hunter. You can do a mix of both, and play how you kind of feel is good for your style. And on the left side here, we have that XP bar I was mentioning. Now, if you did want to get these kind of big skills at the end, you'll have to invest more into one tree than the other, but you don't have to go all in on one tree. So, and then you can respec anytime you want. Really, just undo some points, and that should be fine unless they changed the respecing or redoing of the skills. Now, the XP or the levels are independent of each weapon, so you leveling bows won't give you experience or points for spears. If you wanted to level the spear tree, you need to actually equip a spear, use it, get experience, and level it. But this allows you to level all of these weapons and play between them whenever you want. This week you want to do bow spear. Maybe next week you wanted to do, I don't know, like a greatsword or a warhammer, blunderbuss combo or anything like that. You can change that. Trait skills. These are the 3 that this class was given. Like I said, you start 50 levels ahead, and then everything else is at 0. You have to level it independently. Now, let's go ahead and go into the logging, and we'll check what some of the benefits are. Maybe they changed some things for the beta. I don't think they did. I think everything should still be the same. You just get those extra levels. But I think that maybe for Ranger, leatherworking would have made more sense with skinning instead of logging and woodworking. But skinning, you do have to kill things and then skin, so it is a little harder. So I can see why they didn't go that route. But in my opinion, I think that would have been thematically better for like a ranger or a bow user than woodworking and logging. But it's not a big deal. It's just 50 levels. It's not that hard to actually accumulate a few hours. Be fine. So back into that logging. So now this looks the same as live is, with what the resources are. Young tree, mature tree, and then runewood at the max here. 205 and 250. 205 you'll be able to gather, and then 250 is when they show up on your map. Those 50 levels aren't hard to get. I think it's maybe a few hours. You can put on a movie, some Netflix, and you can easily cut down a few trees within a few hours in a single day. Or if you want to split that up, I mean, it'll probably take you no more than 2 days casually doing it. So it's really not that bad. It's not that big of an advantage as some people may think it may be. So let's go ahead and put some points in here for this upcoming fight. We'll just get 2 active abilities, I think. Yeah, we'll just get the 2 active abilities. Probably not optimal, but I mean, it's a tutorial fight, so we should be fine.
You must become mountain. Drink and accept my gift.
Combat feels, again, same even in this boss fight. I even trying to quickly swing and then block. You'll miss that timing if you try to do it last second there.
I feel your blessings surge within me. Everlasting glory will be ours.
The fight with the captain does feel a bit different from live. I haven't made a new character in New World in some time, so we'll check that out after this and get a actual comparison. This feels more of a boss fight than just like a mid-tier boss fight, so pretty good so far. Also, this little lore bit here is a very nice touch. I don't remember this happening.
What is mine? And now, you will join me. No matter. You will be mine soon enough.
That was a pretty neat cinematic. I don't recall ever seeing that in the live version of the game. It might be something new that they recorded for the beta version.
It's steel, demon! A strongman, are you? Death and Beck, and you still have your soul.
And there we go. We're at the beach. I will also point out that the HUD is a little different. The bar at the bottom with the HP and the skills than live. It's in the center set to the side. But that will be the new player intro for the beta. Next, we're going to go ahead and transition to live and compare the two.
The stories you've heard, they don't tell the whole truth. The island is indeed the place of legend. There's power and vast riches as well. But those who've gone before you have simply vanished, never heard from again. I saw the horror, the madness that overcame the crew. It was beyond any evil the world has ever known. How I survived, I do not know. The contents of this box are not of this world. They will guide you to that one, wherever and whatever that may be. Go then, Captain. Chart your course and your fate. I will say a prayer for the souls of your crew.
And here we are, the current live version of New World. So as you can see, with character creation, we go straight into customizing our character. There's no archetype window. We have the same features, body type, which will just be the same male-female body types. Faces, same amount of faces, I believe, as the beta for Aeternum. Nothing much there. Skin tone, hairstyles. We definitely do have fewer hairstyles here. I believe that's about 40 hairstyles. In the beta, we had a scroll wheel. We could actually scroll through it. Same thing with the beard options or the facial hair options. In the Aeternum beta, you can scroll. Definitely way more. Features, scars, tattoos. Looks about the same. Tattoos, yeah, definitely more tattoos on the beta. And testing the name, yep, with the name definitely have that extra character so I can add that G. So we're not gonna actually customize this character, we're just gonna go ahead and create this, and we're gonna go ahead and just be playing through the intro sequence and seeing how that plays out versus the Aeternum beta sequence. Coming in to the beginning here, looks like our fight sequence is about the same as it was in the beta, teaching us to light attack, heavy attack, block, and dodge.
You, come closer. Your captain needs you. I think so. I could have...
Difference here is it actually shows us what the quest interface kind of will look like. Also, instead of just having a prompt, it locks us in place until we actually perform these actions. Whereas the Aeternum beta, it just had a on-screen notification, which you could ignore. There's nothing preventing you here. I can't even move. I have to press 3 to eat my food, and then it allows me to continue.
You wash up on my shore, exhausted and weak, and I welcome you home.
I do like this little boat alcove crash site. It would be nice if they could incorporate this into the beta version of it. This also does feel a little bit easier. These enemies going down in 2 heavy attacks, whereas the Aeternum beta, it took a bit more to actually get those enemies out.
What have you done? The source. It was my destiny to claim that.
Now, it does feel a little smoother. That honestly could just be due to the beta servers and the strain on them, so I won't hold that against the actual beta version of the game. And again, 2 heavy attacks and he goes down. It's kind of teaching us how to do a block break, but he never got the chance to block, so we couldn't do it. And again, can't move. Screen kind of fades. It's forcing me to press the K to go into the weapon kind of loadout screen here. Kind of teach me how to trees and how the weapon system works a little bit. So we're just going to put that point in there because it's making us do it. And we'll come back to the window in just a second. Here we go. So we're going to start off with this sword and shield. Now, some of these points may be different in what they do. I'm not 100% on the actual wording on each of these skills, but they're about the same. I believe in placement and how it works. Let's go ahead and take a look at the attributes to kind of see how that looks. So it looks about the same. The little nodes might be different in the way they arrange the weapons, but I think it looks identical to what it used to be. Or what it will be, what the new version is, I should say. And like I was saying in the beta, here we can look at sword and shield. It just it doesn't give us a percentage of the scaling. It just says strength and dexterity, which I do like that the beta for Aeternum does actually give you numbers. It is nice when you don't have to go to external sources to figure out what's better or worse when the game just tells you that. The trade skills, again, look the same, except you start with 0 levels to everything. So it doesn't give you the 50, which, again, is not a big difference. 50 to 0. I'll click into login like I did with the beta. As you can see, same thing. Even the cap, 205, 250 for that last item is the same. And really, it just... the difference is young tree to mature tree at the start for logging, and it's only a few hours of work to actually go from 0 to 50. It's really not too large of a jump, and you only need 50 more to get to that weird wood. Now this does show you how to auto run, which the beta may not have. I may have missed it, but it is a really nice feature for you to know how to do. The world is large. Again, a very similar scene with that kind of volcano in the back. I think that the beta for Aeternum version is better. I think heading into that little cave does do a bit better immersive job than you coming down this hill into this kind of like dark smoke cloud.
You forced my hand. Your soul is now mine.
Boss fight with this captain does feel a little different.
Surge within me.
Feels like his movements in here are a bit more spammy. Might be the word for it. Kind of the version of him from the Aeternum beta. He feels a bit more slower, a bit more deliberate with his attacks. Here, he just feels like he's throwing them around. Combat-wise, on the character's end, still really feels the same. If you try to repeatedly swing and then block at the very last second, either the animations can't catch up or the server can't catch up with that, so you'll miss your block chance. I will say that the little fight cinematic from the beta does do a better job than what the live version of that fight is. Load screens for both are decently longer, but with it being an open world game, there's really no load screens from zone to zone. It really shouldn't matter all too much. And here we are back at the beach. May look a little different, but going here on out, the experience is more or less very, very similar, with a little bit of a difference. Not to spoil anything, you do get some story cinematics. Opening of the inventory looks the same. We do have our bag space, we do have our gear, and it looks like our professions are split into a different window, just like the beta version is, so nothing changes there. Now, one of the other differences was the UI. As you can see, it is to the right instead of being centered at the bottom, so that is a design change. I do like the new version as well, but the old one really wasn't that big of an issue either. So that was our recap of what the live version of the game looks like for the new player experience. All in all, they could have taken some more from the live, especially with the intro with locking your character in. I know some people don't like that, but it's easy to miss some of those prompts that the beta version has. So I think they could do that and maybe incorporate a option to skip that if you're making alts or something. Aeternum does also provide crossplay with Xbox and PlayStation, so that is also a bonus. It does increase the population of the game, which is nice. This type of game really does thrive when there are more people playing it. With that being said, that will be the full comparison between the two versions. I will be outputting some more content for the New World Aeternum beta weekend, and then additional content once the update goes live on October 15th. Again, thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you on the next one.